Welcome back to the workshop. It's Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. here in New Zealand, and Andy's pretty knackered, to be honest, but we're going to get through this. It's always fun. I have no idea what today's live stream has to hold. It's all down to your comments and a bit of a pie review and, an update on some Footwell plates that I've been designing and where we're at with that. Now, give me a second. Just want to get the old laptop tuned in. There we go. Look. Excellent. Good stuff. Who have we got in the workshop? Roger Heaps. Good morning, Roger. Welcome to the workshop again, as always. Roger says, good morning, Andy and crew from a cold, wet Southland. Yes, there's been quite a bit of snow and stuff down Queenstown way. Eloise was sending me some messages and photos and stuff of snow on the Remarkables and around the place. Looks very nice. Wish I was down there right now, but can't be. Richard Perry, hi Andy and crew, GB thumbs up. Absolutely. Connor K says, good morning Connor, first of all. Good morning Andy and crew from Portugal. Good morning Connor. Peter Swatman, hi Andy and crew, good morning Peter, and welcome back to the workshop. My apologies, it's not looking over tidy at the moment. We're just going to flick you around. First flick around for the day, 3, 2, 1, boom. There we go, look. Can you see over here? Look at the mess. Andy was making boxes last weekend. Made quite a mess. Didn't tidy up. Shrapnel everywhere. Hey, that's a workshop for you. So, quick cigarettes. We'll see who else turns up. And then we'll make a start going through all the bits and pieces that have been going on this week. Because it has been a very, very busy week for me. It really has. Bring you over here a bit more. That's more like it. There we go. Look. Right. So, cigarette time. Yes, let's do that. So we have a pie. We have a nice pie. I believe it's going to be a nice pie. It's obviously from, well, not obviously, but it's from Wild Big Cafe, given the packaging. Now, this is a buffalo chicken pie, because in all honesty I've eaten all we've done all the meaty ones, the steaks and stuff, so it's got some little sprinkly things, no idea what the hell they are on top, not too sure, some kind of herbs or something. Anyway, we've got integrity, it's pretty good, and of course the underside is also excellent. One thing I find about the Wild Bean Cafe pies is they're actually pretty standardized. They seem to taste about the same no matter where you go. Sometimes they're a bit more cooked than in other places. The warmers are pretty hot. They get through a lot of pies to most service stations. But I suppose when there's a bit of a lag time, then they may stay in the warmer, the display cabinet, for maybe a bit longer than they should do. So they get to be a little bit dry, a bit crispy. But in the main, they're actually pretty good. They're almost like going to McDonald's. Obviously not a supporter of the channel. And you just know what you're going to get. And that's what I like about it. It's just good. If you're on the road, it's great. Jim Haynes, good morning, Jim. I did hit the like button because I can't watch today. Oh, I'm at a sprint car race in Hagerstown. Hagerstown? That's pronounced right. In Maryland. Well, Jim, good luck. May the force be with you. And let's see if we can get on the podium, eh? Right, so cigarettes. Yes, come on, give me some questions. Okay, no questions. Right, so Andy's week. What have I been doing this week? Well, Monday, went up to Auckland. Very precarious load, actually, on the trailer and in the ute. We'd done some scrap. We'd had a bit of a tidy up, and we'd loaded the back of the ute up, me and Mrs. Mechanic, with scrap metal. That was, a mixture of steel and what we call alley and steel mix. And some pure alley as well. And it is a 1 ton, 1,000 kg payload in that ute, so you can get a fair bit in there. And we did pack it extremely well. It was full to the brim. Obviously, the canopy was over the tray, but it was just completely solid with steel and bits and pieces. So took that to the scrapyard, and the gentleman, after we'd unloaded it all and weighed everything, he said, well, you've done very well, Mr. Young. I said, right, well, that obviously you need to reflect that in the remuneration. And he says, yes, 850 kilograms in the back of your ute, which is actually quite good. We couldn't have got any more in, that's for sure. So he wrote me the slip out and handed over the readies, and I was quite happy about that. It was good. Made my day, actually, a lot more than what I thought I was going to get. I think alley and steel prices have gone up a bit. Certainly alley seems to have gone up quite a bit. And they were quite generous, because there was quite a lot of alley that had little bits of steel in, but they still classed it as pure alley, which was very nice of them, to be honest. And then what else did I do? Did I drop any bikes? Oh, no, I took some stuff to, that evening after I'd done some work. I took all Ben's workshop gear that we'd loaded on. And Ben's at a new property. He's only renting with some of his mates. And it's quite a busy road. And the driveway, Ben says, oh, you'll never get up with a trailer. There's no hope in hell's chance. It's too narrow and it's not straight. It actually goes up in an arc. So it goes uphill, quite steep. And it also turns probably by about 30, 40 degrees, We've got a radius on it. And it was quite a hike up to the workshop, up to his garage. So I said to Ben, I says, should we give it a go, trying to reverse up? And he says, I don't think you'll get up there. And I looked back, and to one side of the driveway was a retaining wall that was only maybe about a foot high. And the other side was grass, but the owner of the property put some big rocks to stop people driving on the grass. So either side would have caused damage to the trailer or its tires, not good. But I said to Ben, I said, look, let's give it a go, because we've got quite a bit to unload and it'll save a lot of time. You need to stop the traffic. So Ben became traffic warden, and he ran off into the middle of the road and stopped all the cars, which they weren't very happy, in all honesty, because it was rush hour. Everybody's trying to get home. And I swung the trailer around, got it lined up, and boom, straight up the drive with about 6 inches either side of the trailer to spare. One hit. Didn't have to do any reversing, no shunting. Put it in 4-low, obviously, and just punched it up the drive. And I even amazed myself, in all honesty. I think some of the car drivers were just like, holy crap, that's good. So yes, that sort of made my day today. We got everything unloaded. Ben was very happy, and then got the trailer taken back to East Tamaki and dropped off for the night. And then for the rest of the week, basically, I've been involved with the police. I have. Yes. Building their motorcycles. Yes. Not behind bars. Helping them do their job. And they're very happy. They are. And we made good progress, actually. Really good progress. Got all the bikes out of the crates. Got all the plastics taken off. They've all gone off to get all the special policeman decals put on and stuff. And started to get our head around the wiring. There's a lot of work. They are by far not a standard bike. There's so much stuff that goes on them. It's unbelievable. It really is. John Nuttall. Has Alan put some miles on the Honda CB750 and with no issues? How are we doing with the rats? Thank you for the update. So CB750 is running mint. He says it starts brilliantly every time, which I'm very pleased to hear. And that was the customer complaint, was poor starting and just misfire, just running rough. And he says it's running like a dream now. Only downside is it's got that much power now compared to what it's had for many years that the clutch now slips. So I said, can you fit me a clutch? I says, well, if you order all the bits, I can fit your clutch. And it does have, on the clutch side of it, there is a modification that one of the viewers, can't remember who it was, sorry, memory's terrible these days, sent me the actual Honda technical bulletin about changing the clutch plates. There's a modification. So Alan's got that, so hopefully he'll order all the correct parts, including the modification plate. And then once they're all turned up, I'll go down one evening and we'll just change his clutch for him. Hopefully we'll have all the tools. Fingers crossed. Either that or I'll bring it into work. I don't know. One or the other. Probably better to bring it into work, really, because he won't have soaked the clutch plates. And we can do that at work. Anyway. It's not high priority. Rats, haven't seen any more. Forgot to set the traps. Well, I didn't forget. I put all the bikes in the workshop and the traps are right in the far corner and couldn't get to them. I blocked them all in. So tonight I'm going to set the traps and we'll see if we get the big one. The grandfather that was asleep in one of the drawers. That gave me a bit of a shock when I opened the drawer the other week. Yes, not good. But haven't noticed any. No, I haven't noticed any footprints on the blue roll, and I haven't noticed any sort of track marks recently. So I think we're doing a pretty good job. I'm hoping that Grandfather's gone off and gone to permanent sleep, because he did have a nibble of the blocks that were in the drawer. So fingers crossed. There will be a follow-up video on that. We're still trying to find a fake rat to put in the traps to demonstrate where they were all caught and so on. Mrs. Mechanic was trying to do that yesterday, and she found one. It was like $50, and I said, I'm not paying $50 for a piece of plastic. It's ridiculous. So we'll find one. We'll get there. Connor K, I liked the news stories you posted this week about electric vehicles. Yes, I found them very interesting, actually. Most of which I knew. Hopefully more people will know now. Yes, well, that's the plan, Connor. It seems to be very much by the governments being imposed upon the nation. Certainly here in New Zealand. And everything that's gone out in the media so far, and certainly the adverts for the vehicles, obviously, only mention the benefits. There's it's whoa, this is great for the environment, buy one. Even the government's giving them a subsidy towards buying these new vehicles, spending hard-earned taxpayers' money subsidising vehicles for other people, which I think is a bit harsh, in all honesty. Why not just give that person a tax break and let them earn it, rather than the nation have to earn it for them? Hey, I don't make up the rules. It's just the way it is. But yes, I found those two posts very interesting. Facebook did flag the first one as having some misinformation. Probably has. I mean, I would say though that the bulk of what's in there is probably quite true, but I haven't done the research to validate that. But where there's smoke, there's fire, so to speak. So I'm pretty sure there's some truth in all of it, and it certainly aligns with my way of thinking. I've got nothing against electric vehicles at all, but they only have, in my opinion, a limited usage, as in they only really relate to a certain percentage of the population, where they live, where they work, the way that they use their vehicle. For me, for my job, an electric vehicle just would never work. I mean, how are you going to do 4,500 kilometers in 2 weeks in an electric vehicle? A ute that's loaded up to the gunnels. And in an area, in a country that's, some areas are extremely remote, where there can not be a petrol station for, say, 200 kilometers sometimes. When you're down on the west coast of the South Island, or right in the centre, which is pretty barren down there, just little villages like Ida Valley and stuff. Sometimes it can be quite hard to get fuel, and I can only purchase fuel at certain brands of petrol station as well, using the fuel cards. So it does make it even more difficult, and you've really got to plan your attack when you're doing those kind of journeys. Connor goes on to say, most of which I knew. Hopefully more people know. The grass isn't always greener, just like those batteries. Yeah, I think the batteries are the biggest issue, and I also think the consumers are not really aware of the cost of replacement of battery packs. I think that's a huge unforeseen cost. Although they can find out, many of them don't even bother to, or don't even know to check. They just think it's a car. We'll buy an electric car. That's it, and that's not the case. There's servicing requirements. It's got a finite life as a battery pack, and I think because of that, those vehicles are probably going to come off the road sooner. They might even get, depending on the value of the vehicle, they might even get scrapped as soon as the first battery pack fails. I don't know. Maybe that's what the governments want. So we're all driving pretty much current model vehicles around, and that's never going to happen. John Nuttall, that was me. There you go, John. I thought it was, but I didn't want to put a name on it because I couldn't quite remember. But John, really appreciate that. And because now Alan has got slipping clutch, we can also address that issue as well at the same time. Mike Adams, I have a question about some kind of grease that are put on some electrical connections on vehicles. Is it a specific type of grease, or can just some white lithium do? You want to use the, what's it called? You all know what it's called. It's a silicon-based grease, and it's there really to keep the moisture away and stop corrosion from occurring. It doesn't increase electrical contact in itself, so I'm told. It's just there to eliminate any kind of moisture ingress. And it's very, very good. There is a can of Forge stuff. Actually, should we go and find it? Let's go and find the Forge stuff, and then we'll be able to work out what it is. So some people call it lithium grease, and it has another name as well. 3, 2, 1, there you go. Boom. Right. Oh, where is it? I do use it now and again. I don't use it a lot. I'm still on the same can, but bear with me. It's quite a tall can. No, that's normal grease. Card cleaner. Boom, boom, boom. Silicon spray, that's not the one. Is it that one there? Look. What's that one? Oh, it's contact. That's contact cleaner, that one. Jeez, you can tell my I haven't tidied this up for a while. There we are. Look, it's hiding behind the brake cleaner. S421. Yeah, it's actually called silicon grease on here. Dielectric grease is another name for it. So it's actually very good. You've got to give the cans a really good shake, otherwise it doesn't come out properly. That's the only thing. But it is extremely good stuff. Very happy with that, actually. And Alan's bike's covered in this stuff, you know, and all the connectors and things, because we've pretty much replaced all of them, to be fair. Look at that product placement. There you go. There you go, Jared. You got your bit in today. He does watch the live streams now and again, but he's a busy chap, like we all are. So you know, it is what it is. So yes, that was my week. Anyway, there we go. That's better. Really, just very busy building up those bikes, just getting everything ready. The gentleman that normally does the building of those bikes, and it isn't me. I haven't really been involved, other than just sort of overseeing and trying to solve problems and making sure we've got all the components. Chap called Dave, he was racing a couple of weeks ago and had a really bad accident. Dave is very quick on the track, but when it goes wrong big time. I believe he was doing about 220, 230 kilometers an hour when he came off the bike. That's pretty quick. And he cartwheels, poor chap. So he was pretty beaten up, and he did break some bones. He's had surgery now, and he seems in good spirits. He came in to come and see us a couple of days ago, and he's on the road to recovery, which is fantastic news. But it has highlighted the importance, you know, of Dave's knowledge, because he's built these bikes for years, on and off, and he's far more aware of what's required. So I'm in the learning process at the moment, and it is a big job. There's a lot of wiring harnesses and sub harnesses and switch gear, radio wiring. Man, there's so much stuff to do. All the lights and things. It's just crazy, but we'll get there. So hopefully, Mike, that's helped a little bit with your grease side of things. Definitely well worth putting in on the connectors before you clip them together if you're building a bike up. It makes a big difference further. Oh man, we had a bit of a glitch there. It came up reconnecting, a big wheel of death. So hopefully the internet's not going to fail us today. So yeah, something else that you can do, if you've got an ATV or an ROV side by side and you're using it sort of off-road, farm, muddy, wet, damp environment stuff, one thing that greatly helps to cut down on the corrosion that builds up within the connectors in that wiring harness is to fit a battery isolation switch. So on the positive side of the circuit, where it first comes out of the battery, where your heavy cable normally goes on, disconnect that and put in circuit one of those sort of, like, I call it almost like a rally car switch. You know, they use them on the outside on the wings for the race cars and stuff. Hella do a really good one, actually. We used to use them all the time on the little Jeeps. And I've got one on the Safari. Although the Safari one doesn't cut the actual power to the starter solenoid, but it cuts all the power in the loom, only because it wouldn't carry the current, in all honesty, on the Safari. But on quad bikes and ATVs and ROVs and stuff, if you can fit one of those, then A, it adds to security of the bike, but B, when you're not using the machine, the whole electrical system is completely dead. Whereas normally some circuits are permanently live, and it's those ones that usually get the problems of corrosion in the plugs and on contacts in the switchgear and stuff as well. So it makes a big difference. And if you've got a winch on the vehicle, you absolutely should have an isolation switch, because if the contactor block fails and it sticks in the spool in mode, and the winch is busy spooling in, you've let go of the lance, and you're not pressing the button, and it's still spooling in, what are you going to do? Because you're going to run out of rope, then it's going to jam, and then it's going to fry the motor, and possibly, and I've come across this a couple of times, the vehicle will then catch fire, which is really bad. So if you have a winch, I would strongly recommend fitting an isolation switch, at least on the winches circuit, because it, for me, all the winch installations I did in the UK, we would always fit one. It was just a safety thing. When it's not in use, it's de-energized, there's no corrosion. And it definitely helps components to last longer. Mike goes on to say, is it good to put the grease on all outside connections or just specific circuits? No, you can put it anywhere you want, and it wants to be on the inside of the connector where the terminals are. Putting it on the outside, I don't really think makes much difference. It wants to be right inside on the pins themselves. Also helps the connectors to go together. If they've got the little rubber seal on the connector, then it'll flow a lot easier when you clip it together. Otherwise, if they're a bit dry, those little they're not really an O-ring. They've got like little fins on them. They can bind, and sometimes they can roll in the connector, and then it doesn't quite go together properly. And they don't work as well like that either. So a little bit of grease on there always helps, but it needs to be that silicone grease. MF50B, morning Andy and crew, recently found the channel and enjoying the content. Thank you very much. Based near to where you were in the UK, so recognise the place names. Very good. Pickering, Malton, Scarborough, Langdale End, Bickley, Dolby Forest Drive, Langdale Forest, all that area, Cropton Forest. That's sort of my hunting ground, so to speak. Not that I went hunting, you know what I mean? That's where we used to base myself. So it's nice. Great to have you on board. And we've had a double bill videos go out this last week. Pretty cool, because there haven't been any videos for a while. First video that went out was the last video in installing the CB stuff on the little DR200, all the communication system. The last resort installation, given the fact that the Senna stuff didn't work. Apologies, sincere apology that it was such a long video. It could potentially have been a lot longer. I did really want to go through and re-edit it again and trim it down to maybe an hour and a half, but I just didn't have the time, in all honesty, so I just stuff it. If you want to watch it, that's great. If you want to fast forward through certain bits, that's great. It's your call. But no, to edit that up took me probably 7 to 8 hours of time just to get to that stage. It's no mean feat, in all honesty, editing videos, especially long ones. I always kick myself. I need to make short videos, not long videos, but hey, it's just the way it is. Peter Woodfine, hi Andy and everyone. Good morning, Peter. Harry Darg went today and bought a Kawasaki 1100. Only paid $150 for it. For some reason, it backfires through the carb. Well, check your valve timing and do a leak down test. Find out what's going on, because if it's going to backfire through the carb, chances are you've either got leaky valve, intake valve, or your valve timing is out. Maybe really badly stretched cam chain. Maybe. For $150 though, you could live with a backfire, couldn't you? JJ, morning Andy and crew. Good morning, JJ. Good job, mate. MF50B, yep, same as mine. Cunning. John Nuttall, I use self-amalgamating tape on most plug connectors. Hit the like button, lads. Self-amalgamating, very nice. Sheldon's in the workshop. Sheldon was very, very upset on Friday. He says, oh, Pie Friday. Sent me a message. Pie Friday, Andy. What did you have? Hope you had your pie. I said, no, mate, I've had a chicken panini for my breakfast, with cranberries, obviously. And what was lunch? Oh, lunch, very late lunch, actually, about 3:30, late lunch. Sushi. Teriyaki chicken. Sushi. Very nice, but no pie. And Sheldon's like, it's Friday. What the hell? I had a pie yesterday. I had a Wild Bean Cafe classic steak and cheese, not the gourmet one. And today, Sheldon, this is for you. We have, oh, laptop just glitched. We have a buffalo chicken pie from the Wild Bean Cafe. Never had one of these. No idea what it's going to taste like. It seems to have quite a sad face on the front. If you were to draw a line across there, look, it's almost, you know, not good. Okay, so without further ado, because I'm getting hungry, let's get this slapped in the pie warmer, and then we can crack on. Okay, turning around. 3, 2, 1, boom. Right, dum 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 dum. Pie integrity is pretty good on this one, by the way. Underside, most excellent. Don't drop it, Andy, don't drop it. It feels very solid, does this pie. Very solid indeed. Well constructed. Right, we'll stick him in there. We'll give him the twizzle. And that's it. Over to you, pie warmer. Make it nice. Now, whilst you're up and about, and we've munched our way through the comments, I think, this is where I'm at with the 700cc ATV Footwell support kit. You might, for those that don't know, oh, hang on, I'll have to move this now. Jeez, hang on, bear with me. Mrs. Mechanic's some shop blasting today, sandblasting, so hence why the sandblaster's in the way. Oh, there we go. That'll be far enough. There we go, look. So in the drawer of many things, we have over here, let's get rid of that. These are the ones for the 450cc, which have been very, very successful and done a great job. Very impressed. These, each side has 5 components. Bear that in mind. Going back over here, when I came to design the one for the 700, I wanted to cut down on the number of components. So first of all, this is the drawing. I know it's CAD, cardboard aided design. So anyone wants to make one of these, this is the drawing. So I'm just going to scan down there slowly, because there won't be a video on this. This is the only chance you get to see these. There you go, look. All hand drawn, traditional way. Right. So I wanted to cut down on the components. So we use, there's 2 of these. Now these actually act a bit like a captive nut. These plates, they slot between a plate that's already on the bike, and then you can bolt it up. So we've got 2 of those, and they line up with these 2 holes here. So these sit behind the plate, and there's a steel plate on the bike that's sandwiched between, so that clamps it all into place. They go there, look like that. And then at the top end up here, we have, I'll just use this one for demonstration. That then drops again on the rear side of the plate. That then protrudes up inside the footwell, so it gives support. These cutouts are because there's plastic webs in the footwell, so that works brilliantly. All laser cut. All I have to do to these is just do the final drill and deburr on those. These, the final drill to 6.8 and then tap them M8. So they're done. This is just the prototype. I did the test fit yesterday. It fit perfectly. Very happy with that. On these ones, all I have to do is do the countersinks, which we use Sheldon for. Sheldon the mill. Final drills to here. There were 6.8, but I've taken them out to 7 now. I'm happy with 7s. I just wanted to do 6.8 because the drill bit was already in for doing those, but hey, that's lazy. So 7 gives it slightly more clearance. And again, another 4 countersinks down here. These didn't need any final drills whatsoever other than the countersink because they were already bang on, which is perfect. Now I have altered the plates. These will go out as they are, but the final kit will have a notch cut out down the bottom, which I did actually mark up on one of them and took a picture. Oh, it's going to be the bottom one, isn't it? Bear with me. So these are all just waiting to be sandblasted. So there you go. That's actually a modification which is not on the drawing. And the reason why I've put that in there is, well, A, it saves a bit of weight because they're quite heavy. But B, underneath the bike, obviously, is a plastic skid plate. And it rolls around the frame for support. And on the 450 kit, we just cut the little plastic bits off. But I thought, well, we had to do because there was a bracket down here. We couldn't do anything about it. But on this one, we can actually put a recess in here to give it clearance. So no modifications required whatsoever on the skid plate as well now. So, and these can be fitted, the 700 ones can be fitted without removing the footwell. whereas on the 450s, you've got to remove the footwell. However, normally they're putting new footwells on at the same time, so it's not a biggie. But ease of fitment, these can be fitted without undoing anything other than taking the... in fact, you wouldn't even need to take the plastic skid pan off, actually. You could fit these without taking any components off the bike whatsoever, which is bloody good. Now, in here, another benefit, because of the design, there's a lot less fasteners. In that box there are enough fasteners to do both these two kits. Obviously, each kit comprises of 2 of those large plates, 1 each of these because they are handed, and 2 of those. And that's it. And then you've got all the nuts and bolts. So it's actually worked out, it's far more efficient is this kit, both in time for fitting and in cost in production as well. So very, very happy. Pretty cool, eh? Right, back to the bench. But I must say, it was no easy feat coming up with that design. It might look really simple on the paperwork, you know, on the drawings and so on. But in reality, you know, the bike is quite different. And, you know, because I'd set myself a task of trying to make it simpler to fit, cheaper to produce, you know, it's, you know, I set the benchmark quite high. And the only folds that are required, because folds cost money, don't forget, the only folds needed are on those little right angle brackets. So again, that helped to keep the cost down. It's pretty good. Where do we get to? Oh my word. So good morning, Sheldon, after all that. Igor Dobroskis. I don't know if I pronounced that right or not, mate. It's a great name though, Dobroskis. Hi, I got today a 2003 Hayabusa with no engine and started to fit a 1993 Katana 1100 engine. Seems to fit nicely, just some engine mounts to modify. Nice. One critical thing to bear in mind, and not all manufacturers seem to take note of this, unfortunately, is your chain line. Now, it might be pretty obvious to some people, but your output sprocket from the gearbox, the little one, needs to line up very accurately with the sprocket on the rear wheel. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of jiggle room around that you can play with, but you're a lot better off getting the engine lined up perfectly to start off with. Unfortunately, there are bikes out there on the road where they come off the production line and they can have at least 10 or 15 millimeters of misalignment between the output sprocket and the rear wheel sprocket. And all that does is destroy chain life. It's bad news. So get your chain line absolutely bang on. And you can get little laser, magnetic lasers for that kind of stuff. They use them for aligning V-belts. I think Eric O used one. He's got a set. And I think Ivan's got a set too. Not sure. Where you can actually use them to help align different alternators when you're making brackets and stuff. Just to make sure that you know, it helps with diagnostic as well. You know, if the belts are wearing out really quick. Sometimes they might look to be in line, but even a few millimeters makes a big difference. Where do we get to? Peter Woodfine, sad-faced pie. Yes, it is a sad-faced pie, but at least it's not crying tears of gravy. Not yet. We'll wait and see. Peter Swatman, any ideas of good quality ATV LED floodlights? Floodlights? You mean like spotlights? Driving lamps? No, I don't know the brands. I know some of the motorcycle shops around New Zealand do fit. It's quite a regular thing now to fit additional LED lights to ATVs and even the two-wheelers, the motorcycles, the farm bikes, just to give the riders a bit more light, especially during the winter time, you know, when they're actually out, you know, most of the time that they're out on the farm, it's bloody dark. So they need to see really well. I don't know. I mean, obviously Hella will make them. I'm a big fan of Hella stuff. That's the stuff out of the UK. I think Hella's German made. So Europe, you should be able to get Hella stuff without any problems. Here, what do we have here? There we go. Let's go look at the drawer. That might ring the bell. Hang on. Just turn you around. 3, 2, 1. I always forget the name of a New Zealand one. There might be yes, Nava. So Narva make pretty good quality gear, and they also do LEDs and stuff as well. That's just a Narva relay that I've got in stock. That's all. But yeah, Narva components are pretty good too. Actually, not had any problems with those. But there are a lot of very cheap, nasty, horrible LED lights out there, which I would, you've got to try and stay away because it won't last very long. They all advertise 20,000 hours of burning time, life expectancy for the light. And a lot of the cheap ones, no way, Jose. The LEDs soon start to burn out. They're just crap. Talking of LED lights, just a quick update. Do you remember probably about a year ago now, a viewer sent me in a couple of solar-powered LED lights for in the yard? And we did a video on them. I took one apart and we sealed it all up with silicone because, I was told that the main reason for failure is water ingress and it damages the circuit board. Well, both of those lights are working brilliantly. No problems at all a year down the line. And they only cost, I think they're about $7 a pair here in New Zealand. You can buy two together, $7. Bloody good value for money. So if you ever want any of those little yard lights, they're not super bright, but they provide enough light to be able to see what you're doing in the dark. If you're walking around the garden, or in my case, I have all the bikes to bring into the workshop. Without those lights, it's bloody pitch black, and I was having to take Torchy outside and mount him on, put him on a brick or something so I could see what I was doing. Now I don't need to. They just plink on. They stay on about 30 seconds, which gives me enough time to wheel the bike in. And whilst it still senses motion, it stays on. But as soon as you've walked out of the range, of the motion sensing range, within a few seconds, they turn off again. They're actually really efficient, and all the LEDs are still working. There aren't any that have failed yet on either of the two lights. So actually pretty good quality and very, very cheap. I'm seriously considering now getting a similar type of light and putting them down the drive, because we have quite a long drive, and we've pretty much done all the fence now, and it'll allow me, if I get some of those, it'll allow me to reverse the trailer in. So when I start to reverse the trailer in, the lights will blink on automatically. It'd be great, and there's no wiring needed. Don't need to run any wires, don't need to get out and turn a switch on. Perfect. And free electric. I like free electric. We get plenty of sunshine in New Zealand, just not today. So sorry, Peter, I can't give you an actual brand where you are. Peter, again, I've got fed up with my cheap eBay ones as the alley housings keep failing where the bolts mount on. Really? We'll try and get some plastic ones. See if you can get some plastic ones. It may well be that is it down to corrosion, or is it just metal fatigue? I goes the broskies. The chain was the first with what I started checking. Good man. Seems to be good so far. Excellent. Just also be aware of the chain line with regards to how it runs over the swing arm. Whether the output shaft on the donor engine, on the new engine, could be lower in the engine casing than on the original, or higher, whichever. So you need to make sure that your chain isn't going to rub on the swing arm, on the pivot bit where it goes over the top. Sure enough, you'll have a rubber guide on there, a plastic guide on there, but if there's too much tension on it, it'll eat through that really quick. Now then, Peter Swatman, floodlights for work off-road. UK law doesn't allow LED lights for road use. Really? You can't have LEDs for road use? Wow, didn't know that. Bruce Cleaver, morning Andy and crew. RE frame alignment. India Enfield's alignment used to be really bad. Do you think that was why they bought Harris frames? Harris. The Harris frames, from memory, are premium quality hand-built frames. So yes, they probably bought Harris frames to learn how to line things up. I think you're probably right. But yes, you've got to get it right. You really have. Coffee's going cold. That's not a good sign, is it? What are we up to? No messages. That's great. So, what's in store for this next week? Well, today I have got, Mrs. Mechanic's going to be sandblasting, or garnet blasting, whatever you want to call it. all those bits. We're just going to use the Forge paint to paint those because they've actually got to go out Monday, be shipped out to 2 motorcycle shops to solve problems. I don't normally send out my prototypes, but they're desperately needing them, so they'll have to go out. And I've got the fitting instructions. I took all the photos yesterday, so I've got to put those together probably Monday night and get those sent as well. Obviously, we're going to go ahead now with the full-blown order. They won't be cut for probably about 3 weeks, and then we can crack on with that. Got to go ahead with another batch of 450s as well. That's another 50. So over the next few weeks, we will have, there's 400 plates there for 50 kits, and 500 plates for the 50 kits on the 450. So that's 900 plates to finish, sandblast or tumble, because we do the tumbling now in the cement mixer for the smaller stuff, and spray. So again, I am going to be extremely busy, and so is Mrs. Mechanic. So again, videos get pushed back a little bit, unfortunately. But anyway, today all we have to do today is just get those 2 kits done. I've got all the fasteners done, as you can see. Get them all packed so I can ship them out tomorrow. Monday to Friday, I'm on the road, heading south. I'll end up in Wellington, and then back home late afternoon Friday, I think it works out to be, if all goes to plan. So nothing will happen at home. And then the following week, I'm back in Auckland. And I'll be back in Auckland pretty much for 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4 weeks consecutively, getting those police bikes done. Because we have to get them done. We have deadlines to hit. It's not good. And Dave won't be back on board for at least another 5 weeks, probably more actually. It could take a while for him to fix. Where do we get to? Peter Swatman, I think it's very poor quality die-cast alley. Well, if it's Chinese stuff, they tend to use a very high percentage of recycled metals. So you're probably quite right. I had to remanufacture the swing mountings already. The channel where the bolts slot in are so soft, the bolts get... I understand. So you put your bolt in, and the head of the bolt, a bit like on the roof tents that we used, it runs down an alley, what do you call them, where it's been formed, hasn't it, you know? Extrusion, that's the word. So you run the bolt head down there, and then when you're tightening up, it's just bending the alley, and it's just pulling through, isn't it? That's not good. That's crap design. It really is. Igor's Dobroskis, thanks for the advice. For now, I need to buy the Hayabusa engine bolts, the long ones, and mount the back of the engine properly. Then will be the moment when I will see if the chain will or won't rub. Yes, and take your time. You know, get it. If you make a set of brackets and it's not quite right, make another set of brackets. Get it right, because if you don't, further down the line, you'll kick yourself. Because, you know, it's fundamental that you get the engine in the right place, and everything else that you do to the bike might require the clearance, and if you then have to move the engine at a later date, you might have loads of other stuff to change as well. So, you know, get it right. Take your time. Do a good job. Peter Swatman, UK law says the vehicles registered with halogen headlights can't run LED headlights. Agriculture registration on ATV can be very strict. Wow, we used to have all our ATVs registered as agricultural vehicles. But we didn't use LEDs back then. They were just whatever the bikes came with, to be fair. LEDs hadn't really got going at that point. And I wasn't a great fan for some reason. I don't mind them now. I don't like them on the road. They're too bright, especially during the day. There's a lot of cars with driving lights now that are LEDs, and they are ridiculously bright. And it burns your eyes. You know, there's a lot of cars flicking past. And it's a relatively dull day. So your eyes are sort of used to that dullness. And then you get this bloody great LEDs blaring at you. It's not good. I don't like it. Maybe I'm just old. I don't know. John Nuttall, hey, get some new media on order for the blaster. Yes, there's still plenty at ISL Industrial, which is old stock. They just want rid of it. So Brandon does me a good deal. I've got to go and pick up those 2 new air compressors a week on Friday. I'm picking those up. So there's one more of the, well, I'll show you. There you go. Turn you around again. That one there, Brandon has exactly the same one in his workshop at ISL. That's an old model. He sold me that one. Oh, just put the tripod in me coffee. Oh God, probably had some flavour. So he sold me his one of those. It's a couple of years old and it's due for replacement. They like to keep current model stuff in stock, so and for use for demos and things. So he sold me that at a very, very, very reasonable price. Thank you, Brandon. Really appreciate it. And he sold me one of the new ones, which is slightly shorter but bigger diameter tank, same volume, but it's a twin head compressor. So it's got 2 cylinders rather than one, with a $500 discount on it. So all in all, the whole lot comes out at about $2,200 for the 2 compressors, which isn't bad at all, in all honesty. I'm still yet to sell the petrol air compressor. That's actually under the carport, under wraps. I've taken the photos, just haven't listed it yet, but we'll get around to it. So I can pick up some more garnet at the same time. There'll be plenty of space on the trailer. He can just chuck me a pallet of garnet on there. I'll probably end up buying whatever he's got left, to be honest. Because we seem to, we do use it. There's quite a lot of jobs coming in at the moment, so it'd be handy to have it. But you've got to keep it dry. That's the only downside. Where we get to? Yes, that's it. John Nuttall. Yes. So new media. I've still got about 6 bags left, and we've got another big dustbin full of it as well. So we haven't actually used that much of the first batch that I got. I think I bought 12 bags or 20 bags. I can't remember. Quite a bit. We bought enough anyway. But I will get some more while I'm there for sure. So what else have I got to do? Yes, today I have got a 320cc 4-stroke twin, brand new model, to diagnose an issue. Simon, if you're there, I haven't seen Simon yet. The issue is, went in for its first service, and this is what the customer says. Ever since the first service, once the engine's warmed up, it generates a misfire, and you can hear the engine RPM slowly drop down, and it's misfiring, but every now and again it'll misfire, and eventually, if you leave it long enough, it will just stall out. Fuel pressure has already been checked. That was the first thing we went after to see if it was an issue with the fuel pump, just starting to bind up once the fuel pump was warming up. Don't believe that's the case from what I've been told, although I will redo the test myself just to be sure. But I'll chuck the scan tool on, go through it, we'll see what we find. Obviously it can't be a video. Well, not at the moment. It might be a video, I might film it, we'll see how we get on. But with Mrs. Mechanic sandblasting, I probably can't video it because it'd be too noisy. In fact, it'd be ridiculously noisy. But it'd be a good one. It'd be an interesting one to find out. And is it something that the tech has created when he did the service? I mean, I can't imagine. Although they should have done, I can't imagine that they would have checked the valve clearances or adjusted the valve clearances because it's bucket and shim. I'm absolutely certain they won't have done anywhere near that side of things. So it could be a valve clearance issue from factory, possibly. So maybe I'll check that first before I fire it up. It's outside at the moment. It hasn't been started up, for a couple of days, so it's nice and cold. So valve clearance check. That's a big job. We will see. Roger Heaps. I'm trying to pull a sprocket off a 50mm shaft, but not enough room for a traditional puller. Is there a mounting plate? As there is a mounting plate about 100mm directly in front of the shaft. Joys. Could you warm it up? Get a bit of heat on it? Just expand it a bit, and then that might just free it off a little bit. Unless there's a fuel tank nearby. That wouldn't be a good thing, would it? But probably not. But yes, have fun. How's my pie doing? Oh, it's looking nice and brown. Looking forward to that. So, we've got another fabrication project in the wings at the moment, which will be for the air compressors. Now the plan of attack is, because there's going to be 3 of them, and they're all going to be mounted one above the other. Hopefully I've got enough height clearance. Oh, there goes the pie. I'm going to build a steel frame and mount all 3 compressors one above the other in the steel frame. Each compressor will have to be rubber mounted. I'm trying to keep the noise levels down as much as possible. I don't want any rattles and stuff, so I'm going to make brackets up to rubber mount each air compressor within that frame. The frame itself will be bolted down to the concrete, probably with some additional mounts so that I can just unbolt it from the concrete without taking the brackets off the concrete, if you know what I mean, if I need to move it for any reason. Or maybe even to service the compressors, I can just get Trevor the tractor in there and lift all 3 out together on the frame, and then do the servicing, put them all back in again. However, I was going to do steel pipe work between the 3 compressors, but I can't do that because the compressors are rubber mounted. If I did that, it would cause stress to the steel air pipe work. So they're going to have to be rubber hosed between each one, which isn't ideal. I'd rather not use rubber because it does degrade a lot quicker and it could blow. But I don't really have much of a choice, to be honest. So I've got all that to work out and all that to produce in the next few weeks so that we can then sandblast the next batch of plates quickly and efficiently without too much noise for the neighbours, hopefully. So I've got all that to fit in as well. So it's going to be very, very busy. Really busy. Too busy. Right, let's go and get that pie. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. Dum 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 dum. Not too fast, Andy, not too fast. Peter Swatton, best thing for digger airlines is digger hydraulic hose. That's good to know. I actually have got some hydraulic hose that came with the auger for the Trevor the tractor. So maybe I can use that. There you go, look at that. Got a couple of little cracks down the front, look. Is he still sad? Yeah, he's still sad. Base looks good. Okay, right. Back to the bench. Oh, look at that for focus. Good camera. For once. Dum 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 dum. There we go. Right, turn around, 3, 2, 1. And we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. That'll do. Oh, okay. So, quick spin around on the pie before we start. So, 2 cracks down there. The lid looks well bonded. That's good. It's nicely browned. I like that. Good job, pie warmer. Base feels very solid as well, which is good. Okay, stick that over there for now. Right, so as traditionally, we'll always start, give the pie the best possible chance. We'll start at the cracks. That's good pie management. Isn't it, Sheldon? Right, here we go. It's going to be quite hot to start off with. Now, this is, what did I call it? What the hell was it? It's a chicken pie. I've forgotten the name of it now. Oh, God. I took a picture. Hang on. I took a picture. Bear with me. Bear with me, people. We'll get there. Boom. Don't need that. There. It's an American style buffalo chicken. And there it is. This is the pie in the pie warmer. Look at that. I even took a photo because I knew I'd forget. $5.60 of your hard-earned cash. Right. You can just see through there, look. It's orange. That's disconcerting to start off with. And it's very hot. Oh. Tastes almost beany. Like cowboy beans. Weird. Where do we get to? Peter Woodfine. I thought there was something wrong with no lawnmowers. Now it's back to normal. What? Oh, yes, in the background. Now that's a leaf blower. We have a neighbour. Obviously it's autumn here now and the leaves are all falling from the trees. and there's quite a few trees, big trees, along our roads. And the neighbour opposite, he has this thing with his leaf blower. Every single morning, without fail, before he goes to work, he blows the leaves off his grass onto the road. And then, when he comes home from work, he does exactly the same thing. And it takes him about half an hour each time to blow the leaves back onto the road. Even when it's a windy day, he goes out with his leaf blower and tries to blow the leaves onto the road. I don't know what it is. He's got some kind of addiction to blowing leaves around. Doesn't make any sense at all. But he seems very happy doing it. And, I'm not filming at the moment. I'm just doing a live stream, so we'll let him off. We have got some tearage of the base. I don't know if you can see this or not, but just in this corner here. Can you see that? There you go. I don't want to compromise the pie. Where are we? There we are. There, look. Can you see? We've got a crack. That's not good. The pastry feels quite brittle on this pie. Maybe it's a chemical reaction with the contents. I don't know. It's quite spicy. It's a spicy pie. I don't normally have spicy pies, but we'll see how we get on. There you go, look. It's not a bad pie. So far, it's all right. We'll start scoring next. Well, one more bite, then we'll start scoring. Oh. It's got some red bits in there, look. It could be like peppers. I think it's got peppers in it. One thing you don't get is like the ingredients for pies. From Wild Bean Cafe. They're just in the pie warmer. That's what you get. Good luck. Well, it was quite a small piece of chicken. Okay. So we've got a base, get our mindset into this being a chicken pie, because that's what it is. It's chicken. It's not beef. It's chicken. Don't normally have chicken pies. Incidentally, on the leaderboard, the top of the leaderboard pie is a chicken pie, which completely blew me away. I wasn't expecting it. Wow. Has it got cheese? I think it might even have cheese in it, which is a bit weird. Anyway, you see there, look, that looks like Wild Bean Cafe cheese. We will find out shortly. Okay, so taste stroke flavour. This is of the contents of the pie, not the pastry. It's all right. I'm going to give it a 6. It's not sort of my chosen flavour of pie, but we're going to give it the benefit of the doubt because some people like chicken pies. I'm not sure if that was cheese or not. Weird. Right, we can't really do structure Foley partners just yet. It's doing very well, by the way. It's getting a little bit crummy on the bench, and we have got some cracks developing on the base, which are also spreading around the side. The base is almost overcooked. Maybe I put it on for a bit too long. I don't know. Same period of time as all the other pies, but we've got quite a craze developing on the base there. Look, these fracture lines are developing across the bottom, so potentially it could turn into a pietastrophe. Who knows? Rollability test, we can do that. It looks like it might do pretty well. So 45 degrees, sort of 30 seconds. I can't see any movement at all on that. It's absolutely rock steady. So it does very well there. That's a high score. Good job. So we'll give you a 10 for that. That's a pass. Meat quality. I haven't really had a decent chunk. There's a tiny bit of chicken just there, but all the rest is just sort of mush at the moment. I've not had a decent chunk. Oh, a burp. That's 1 point down for later on. Pie to crust ratio. Well, it's pretty thin, isn't it? There's not really that much of the content. It's quite slim inside. I mean, the pie's almost collapsed, hasn't it? It's quite low is the lid. And there's a lot of pastry. Look around here, look, there's a huge thickness of pastry down here. Not quite so bad on this side, We've got quite a bit up on the top here, look, as well, quite thick. The base isn't too bad, but you know that is also structurally failing at the moment. So overall, quite low on the contents and quite high on the pastry aspect. So pie to crust ratio, I don't know, 5? I think a 5. It's quite low. Not what I expect from a Wild Bean Cafe pie, to be honest. Pastry taste rating. Can I get a bit of pastry off there without destroying the pie? Maybe. I don't know. Let's have a go. It's quite dry. No weird aftertaste. You'd expect the pastry to be the same on the meat pie, on the steak pies as well. It probably is. But this one does taste quite dry. Maybe it was in the pie warmer for a while before I bought it, which is going to go against it, unfortunately. Okay. Pastry. It's not that tasty. I'm going to give it a 5. That's all it's going to get. What else we got? Availability logistics. Well, Wild Bean Cafes, they're part of the BP petrol station group and pretty much all over New Zealand. But these pies are only available in those particular petrol stations. You can't buy them at supermarkets. You can't buy them online. You can order them online, I think, with your coffee, but you can't buy them online. You've still got to go and pick them up. So we can ignore all of that. But they are ready to eat. As soon as you get there, you can eat it straight away, which is a convenience factor. And that's normally the case with a pie. You buy it because you're hungry and you want to eat it there and then. So I'm tempted to give them 6. I think it's 6. I think 6 because there is a lot of BP petrol stations around New Zealand. All the big towns have them. At least one, if not 2 or 3 around. I mean, Auckland's got loads of them. Even some villages, some Bulls, they've got a BP. Leven, I think they've got a BP as well. Yeah, there's loads around. Taupo, Rotary, you name it, they're all over the place. Now, packaging design, pretty standard. It's just a paper bag, but it is printed. Warning: contains deliciousness. Wild Bean Cafe, and of course their website, so you can go and check them out. And it even says on the back to dispose of the bag thoughtfully. Yes, and recycle where possible. So it is recyclable. So we'll come to that in a minute. So packaging design, it's pretty good. I mean, you've already seen the pie in the pie warmer. You know how nice it looks. You get a free bag, which is nice. And you can also get free napkins as well, which are also branded. They're well into the branding thing at Wild Bean Cafe, which is good. I like that. But it is just a paper bag. But somebody has spent a little bit of time, probably about 6 minutes on Photoshop, designing that bag. It's all it takes. It doesn't take long. Probably took longer for management to approve it, to be fair. 6. I think it's 6. It's pretty low, isn't it? Pretty low scores. Recyclable score, well, it's a paper bag. It's 100% recyclable, so they get 10 for that one. Well done, Wild Bean Cafe. Right, let's keep going because we're not even halfway through the pie yet. Look, we've got a massive crack going on here. Look, see this crack here? Truly a sad pie. As it's cooling down, I'm able to get a bit more flavour out of it. It's actually getting better as it cools, not worse, which is a weird thing for a pie. And I'm not really a fan of these little bauble things on the top, whatever they are, little seedy things. All they do is get stuck in your teeth, especially when you're old. You've got gaps in your teeth. It's not good. It's definitely got cheese in it, and you can see all the cheese on the top there, look. And that's about the size of the chunks of chicken that you get. Much smaller than the chicken pie that's on the leaderboard. That they were massive. It was like, just inch by inch square chunks of chicken in that all. This is a bit lean on the meat content, to be honest. It's not ideal. I don't know what that is. What do you reckon that could be? Some strange part of a chicken? No, it is chicken. Now, back to runnability. We've got this running across the top here. Some of the contents are oozing out through that crack on the lid and starting to just make the way across to the edge of the pie. Now that could really catch up. If you decided to try and eat this whilst you were driving, that blob there, you can guarantee is going to land in your lap whilst driving. That's bad, Wildbeing Cafe. Come on, people. Not impressed at all by that. So, runnability, we gave it a 10. We now need to bring that down because that's a bad thing to happen. So I'm going to bring that down to a 7. Sorry. I'm going to make it a 7 now because that potentially could be pie-tasterous, can't it? Pie-tastrophe. Now, you saw what I did then. I implemented the pie management strategy and ate the bit of pie which had that sort of runny bit on top. So now I've eliminated that as a problem. But if I was driving, I may not have noticed that or been able to hold it, because when you're driving, you've got to steer the steering wheel with one hand usually. Very difficult to rotate the pie around to get the right bite. Whereas sat on the bench here, I can do that. So I've got 2 hands. So I managed to, avoid that problem. But it was still a problem, and we need to know that. There you go. You can see there's definitely some peppers in there. It is quite spicy. Definitely peppers. So, pie server attractiveness. Well, obviously it was a female that served me. She's always very nice, welcoming when you go into the store. Not the regular lass that serves me, to be fair. I would give her a 7, I think. And that isn't, the score isn't just about the pie server. It's about the ambiance of the environment where you're purchasing, and the way that they greet you when you walk in. I mean, the particular petrol station that I get these pies from usually, the other day, Monday it would have been, I called in to get a coffee and a pie, as you do driving up to Auckland. And the first thing I do is pay for fuel. I was paying for the fuel, and as soon as I finished paying for the fuel, without even having to order the coffee, bear this in mind, this is the critical part, the coffee was already made. And it was put by the till for me to pay for. I hadn't even had to order it. I hadn't even asked for a coffee. They just knew that I wanted that coffee, and it was my regular coffee. And I was, another burp, bear that in mind. And I was quite surprised. And I'm very pleased that they know me as a regular customer, and they've got the forethought to remember what that customer has as his coffee. So that has to add to the whole thing. You feel welcome when you walk through the door. They're there to serve you. They're there to please you. Makes you feel good. Makes you feel somebody. So 7 is what they got for that whole package. Not just the way that the lass looks. It's all about the whole package. Now, still tasty when cold. Don't know. I don't think it'd be that tasty cold, to be honest. So what I've done there is just bite a bit of the contents off. Very, very thin layer, which has cooled down. It tastes a bit weird, to be honest. Cold chicken pies, in my book, never taste very good cold. Steak pies, they have a good chance, but chicken, not impressed. Still tastes very cold. I'm gonna give it a 3. It's not that great. I certainly wouldn't eat it cold. If it went cold and I'd left it in the glove box for a couple of days, and the fact it's chicken, I wouldn't go anywhere near it. And I can eat all sorts of stuff out of the glove box, believe me, but I wouldn't go anywhere near this. Now, let's fill in the gaps. Post heartburn. Well, it is quite spicy. That's bad. We've had a couple of repeats already. I'm going to pitch quite low on this one. I'm going to go for maybe 2 burps. I'm going to give it a 7 for now. I don't want to be over aggressive on my scoring. That may well come down, as it can do. Now, meat quality. We've pretty much eaten the whole pie. This is all we've got left. This is it. After this bit's gone, there will never be another buffalo chicken pie past my lips, that's for sure. Meat quality. Small chunks. There was a lot of sort of filler in there. Gravy stuff, orangey kind of goo. There was a nice chunk of cheese, which was good. Plenty of cheese in there. But for me, cheese and chicken doesn't always go together. Cheese and beef, yes. Meat quality wasn't great. Wasn't a lot of it, and it was small chunks. I'm going to give it a 6. Right, structure fully partners. Well, it sort of hung in there, but only because of good pie management. There was a point where it could have led to a pie-tastrophe. It's been quite crumbly. There's a lot of cracks. Even now we've still got cracks around the base area. This is all loose, just been held into place by the inner pastry. There's no big chunks on the bench. I'm going to give it, surprisingly, I thought it would do really well actually at the start. I'm going to give it a 6. And see, it's done it again. Right, where's that? Where is it? I forgot it. Recycling packaging. Post heartburn. There we are. Post heartburn. That's now a 6. Sorry, mate. It's now a 6. Right. Stuffability score. I can score that once I've eaten it. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, it's not my choice of pie, in all honesty. I won't get it again. Am I stuffed? Would I eat anything else? I don't feel fulfilled with flavour. I haven't had experienced the joys of eating something that I really like the taste of. Because of that, I might have a cookie or a picnic bar or something just to pick myself up and say, yeah, I feel better now. Stuffability score, give it a 6. There's a lot of 6s today, isn't there? That'll make the adding up fun. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All the scores are in. We now need to add them up. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. So Wild Bean Cafe buffalo chicken. Let's see how it came out on the figures. Bear with me, I've got to turn the tripod around. There we are. Right. Not sure if you can see all the scores from there, but we'll do our best. So we've got 12, 19, 25, 30, 36, 41, 44, 50, 60, 66, 72, 79. 79. I thought it would have scored lower than that, to be fair, but hey, it did extremely well on the recyclable score of the packaging, didn't it? It got a full 10 marks there. But for no other category did it get full marks. And in all honesty, it struggled to get above 5, and we got a 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Those are 6s. 1 5, 2 5s, and maybe a 7 down, a couple of 7s. So a pretty low scoring pie, in all honesty. So 79 is the score. This is are we on camera? We are. Wild Bean Cafe. And it's a buffalo. I can't spell buffalo. Chicken. Maybe I can spell buffalo. I don't know. Oh dear, 79. In fact, hang on. Where's... I'm going to make that 5. Oh, I've drawn on the better category. Right, so that's now going to be 78. I don't feel great, to be honest. 78 it is. Okay, let's go and see where it ends up on the leaderboard. 78 is not a great score for a pie, believe me. And from Wild Bean Cafe, quite a disappointment in all honesty. They are definitely better than that normally. Okay, where do we end up? Sticky one there for now. Wild Bean Cafe, 78. 70, oh my word, 78. All right, it'll just snick in there, look. We'll just bring that one up. Take those two down a fraction. And we can snick it in there. So it's quite low down, look. Just goes to show that not all chicken pies are great. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th from the bottom. Sorry, guys. I can't recommend a Wild Bean Cafe buffalo chicken. Not for me, anyway. There we go. And there's the other one. You see, chicken pie, it can be made super tasty. Chicken, bacon, and mushroom and cheese. 106 out of 130. Bloody good. I'm looking forward to topping that, though. I'm waiting for one to go up here. Sorry, Eric. Keep covering your sticker up. But I'm waiting for one more to go up there. The quest continues, doesn't it? Right, back to the bench. We'll get rid of that. Don't need that anymore. Boom. There's the crumbs. Quick crumb check. Not too bad, really. I mean, if that was in your car, well, you'd just move on with your life. It's not too bad. Big blob of contents. That'll be a different matter altogether. Right. Let's get the phone sorted. Oh, jeez. Okay. Right, what are we on? Hour and 17. We've got about 10 minutes left to go. Maximum 10 minutes. Andy's got a busy day today. Lots to do. I've got an ROV that needs also waiting to be diagnosed with a misfire as well. Jeez. So maybe I'll get them both done today. I don't know. Got to get the bike done. That's the important thing. Scrolling back to the comments. Harry Dog. Man, I went on Amazon to look at lawnmowers, and about every one they have on there now are electric. Really? You kidding me? That's a joke. I don't want an electric lawnmower. Peter Woodfine, buffalo chicken. That's what it was. JJ, I agree with Bruce about the headlights, but I reckon it's more to do with the fact that the utes and SUVs of today are so much taller at the front end. Okay, well, they are. The lights, are higher up, I suppose. But nah, it's just, if we're talking about the same thing, they're just too bright. On dull days, they are really, really bright. On the vehicles here in New Zealand, at least. When you look at something that's too bright, and then when you blink, you can still, it's sort of burnt into your retina. You've still got that. If you look away, you can still see the positioning of the lights on your, on your eyes. And that to me is too bright because it affects your vision. Maybe it's just me. Maybe nobody else has that problem, but it's always been an issue. I mean, the lights in this workshop are bright enough, to be honest. And they've got diffusers on them of all the LED ones. And actually, they do the same thing. If I look at those and then look away, I can still see the line of the light. Most bizarre. It's not good. Bruce Cleaver. The blossom off a neighbour's trees twice a week. Now, these are all leaves, but yeah. Alan Cook, hiya. Good morning, Alan. Welcome back to the workshop, matey. Jim K. Jim, how's it going? How did you get on with that final drive? Obviously, you've got to be careful on your comment, but it'd be interesting to find out. Me and Jim had a really good talk about oil leakage on a final drive. We did. It was quite an in-depth conversation. Interesting to get a follow-up on that, Jim. Peter Woodfine. Burp count is now 3. Yes. John Nuttall. Just a thought. Are a compressor rack. Yes. Put some auxiliary fans on. Them things get very hot. Yes. Ultimately, the whole thing, once it's on the frame, because I've got to think of noise suppression. I'm then going to put a partition wall, basically box the whole thing in, and have 2 large doors. And on that, there'll be probably 3 fans will draw air. I mean, the compressors have got their own fans, don't get me wrong, and the cupboard is not fully sealed. There's where the planks go up and down on the wall, there's probably a 5mm gap between each plank. So there's plenty of airflow. But I'm going to put maybe 2 or 3 fans down one wall drawing air in, and then maybe another 2 or 3 fans on the other wall drawing air out. So there should be a really good flow of air, because I don't want to cook them. But you're quite right. If they're going to be boxed up, you've got to have good airflow. Chances are when they're in use, the doors will probably be open anyway. So do I need the fans? Don't know. Maybe it'll be too noisy. If I can close the doors, maybe that'll quieten it down. Don't know. It's work in progress. It really is. But yes, I'm very, very conscious of them not getting too hot. Peter Woodfine, burp times 4. It was quite burpy, was that pie. Quite repeated on me quite a bit. And I can still taste the spiciness on my tongue. And I don't like spicy pies. I'm not into that. I won't be getting another one, that's for sure. At least with these pie surveys, I'm doing all the hard work for you guys, so you know what to buy and what not to buy. And I think the buffalo chicken pie is like I don't think it's one of their permanent ones on the menu. I think it's just like a short-term pie, a speciality pie, you know, a speciality flavor. But I don't know. I haven't seen it before, and it sort of sits heavy on me now. I just feel quite lethargic. I don't really want to do a lot, and I've got lots to do, so I'm going to have to push myself. But no, I definitely will have another one. Definitely not. Right, it's time for some cold coffee that's had a tripod in it. Oh, it's got a hair in it as well. Ugh. Don't know whose hair that was. Right. Yeah, cold coffee. Beautiful. So, where are we at? We've done the Footwell support plate stuff. Oh, good shot. We've done what I've done for last week. We've done what I'm doing for the next week, next couple of weeks, to be honest. We've covered air compressor stuff. We're not far off, actually. I can't think of much else to do. To talk about what else has been going on recently. Oh, yes. I can't show you the picture. It's got the wrong stuff on it. But anyway, Sheldon sent me on Friday, when he was talking about Pie Friday, he also mentioned that he was, in the afternoon, he was out delivering motorcycles back to customers. He got a load on, I think it was his phrase. So I sent him a photo of the load on my trailer. And as you saw from the thumbnail for this video, there are 10 essentially potato boxes. Let's call them wooden crates. They're not actually potato boxes. I was given them for free, which is a massive bonus. I mean, how lucky am I? There's 10 of them. When we went to go and pick them up, we couldn't get in with a fork hoist. It was basically under a carport at a domestic property. And I thought, man, these are going to be pretty heavy to lift in. There was 2 of us, so we would have managed it. We came to lift the first one, and the whole thing fell apart. I'm like, what's going on? And upon further inspection, it turns out that each layer of the box, the planks, is separate. So clearly, they've been used as display boxes, display crates for in places like Bunnings, Mitre 10, or maybe a fruit and veg shop where you can make the crates as high or as low as you want by just adding more or less layers of these planks. They're all built up. You know, you've got this square of timber that's got blocks of timber in the corners, and they're actually really well made. They all fit together very, very well. They're quite dimensionally accurate. So you could add, take 2 layers off another box and put it on to make the whole thing taller, and vice versa. And they come with lids as well, big, thick, inch-thick plywood lids. Obviously, again, you can put produce or whatever it is you're selling on the top rather than in the box. Just use it as almost like a pedestal. So very, very versatile. Only downside is they're not treated timber, which isn't a huge problem at the moment, although I could go and buy some treatment and paint it on and that would certainly help them to last. Which is probably what we will do, because they're actually really good, and they'll serve the purpose that I need very, very well. I mean, for example, if I've just got some heavy castings or engines or whatever to put in one crate, I can make that crate less high, and I can use the bands, the spare bits, and put them on another one that maybe I've got some very light stuff in, like seats and things. So I can make that crate taller, and Trevor the tractor will still lift it up. Because one thing I have to be very conscious about Trevor the tractor's lifting abilities. It's not really enough. It's a bit disappointing, to be honest. We've had that, burping again, we've had that discussion before. But when you look at the strength of the actual steelwork that does the front loader, you know, even if you upgraded the pump and put bigger rams on it, I think you might actually start to twist the front loader. And of course, I don't want to do that. And I'm not going to start welding more plates and stuff on. That's not going to happen. So I've just got to work around that issue at the moment. I did look at earlier in the week. I just joked with Mrs. Mechanic. I said, oh, maybe we'll get a little skid steer bobcat. They can lift about a ton. And she's like, you're not buying anything else. You've got your eye on a Unimog at the moment. You're not to buy anything else. Get Trevor paid for. So I've been told. JJ, if you are in a saloon car, you are sitting much lower than an oncoming Ute SUV, especially at night. That's when the oncoming headlights are really dazzling. Yes, at night time, ridiculously dazzling. I mean, luckily I am in a Ute, so I am about the right height for most. I mean, Utes are the most popular vehicles here in New Zealand, so most cars that come the other way are Utes. But like you say, if you're sat lower, then there's more chance of being dazzled. So yeah, I can see that. But I try not to drive cars too much if I can help it. Although I do get hire cars if I end up flying to the South Island. I don't like cars. I feel very vulnerable in little cars these days. John Nuttall, hoping Steve is on the mend. Any news there? No news at all, and I've not seen any posts either from Steve. I sincerely hope he's okay. I'll message him again, see if I can get some kind of an update. I mean, obviously he's in recovery at the moment. He just needs to take it easy. Maybe he's decided, which he's done in the past, just to take a break, and that's absolutely fine. All we want is Steve to come back at some point. He's surely missed, he really is. Obviously, there are other members of the network that he has, which are doing posts on Facebook and things, but I haven't seen anything from Steve in a couple of weeks, to be honest. Pete Woodfine, how is Tool Girl Holly? I don't know. I've not seen Tool Girl Holly for a few weeks. I'm hoping she's okay. If she wasn't okay, I'm sure she'd let me know. I'm just waiting really for the next ideal project for Holly to come down, or if I've got a few little things to do, then she can come down and give me a hand for a weekend. But at the moment, she really is focused on her new role. It's a major step up for her, and she's got a lot to learn in that role. So I don't want to really pull her away from that while she's focused on, just getting to grips with her new job. It's important that she makes a good success of it, and she establishes herself as, a needed employee. Because things are a bit in flux here in New Zealand at the moment, to be honest, with employment and so on. Companies are readapting to the current climate, what's going on, and reduced sales and less vehicles going out, and what's the future going to hold? There's going to be huge price hikes. There has to be, and that in turn will reduce sales as well. So I don't know, but she's happy. She's doing a good job, although she is finding it hard. She's really got to focus and get her mind tuned in to what's required of her. I'm sure she can tell us all about it when she's back in, and when she does finally come down again for the next weekend, whatever that's going to be, maybe a month, maybe 2 months' time, I don't know. I mean, I've got all this fabrication work to do anyway, so it's just not going to happen for a while. But she'll no doubt join us for the live stream, and you'll be able to ask her yourselves how she's getting on with the new job and what that job entails, because I'm sure she's very eager to let you all know that she's got this new job and she's doing really well. Right then, crew, I think we're about there. It's time for Andy to pull his finger out and go and diagnose a fault on a motorbike. Oh, pretty much brand new motorcycle as well. This will be fun. Seems to be a lot more variables on a new bike. Yeah, because it could be a manufacturing issue. I don't know yet. We'll find out. Okay, crew. Well, listen, thank you all very much for joining. We've hit the 1 hour, 30-minute mark. So we've done 90 minutes of live stream, which is what I try and pitch it at. I think it's gone pretty well. Hope you've all enjoyed it. We've got 28 viewers at the moment, 23 thumbs up. Come on, guys, give us a thumbs up. You can do it. For those that support the channel, and I'm sure you all do in your own way, if you want to support it financially, you can do that through Patreon or PayPal. There's links on the Andy Mechanic YouTube homepage in the banner. You can just click on there and send something through if you like. But any form of support that you provide is very, very much appreciated. And the sheer fact that you're here on the live stream, listening to me babbling on for 90 minutes, well, that's enough for me. Okay, crew, time to work. I'll see you around. I'll see you next weekend, 8:30 a.m. Sunday morning. Thanks again. Cheers. Over and out.